I'm Macy Egeland. Only a Newsday. A new hospital could be coming to the island for the first time in decades. NYU Langone Health wants to build it just off of Route 110 in Melville. It would include room for 500 beds, an emergency department, and research labs. The goal is to offer much needed medical care closer to home, something heart transplant patient Cindy K. Fink of East Meadow thinks is a good idea.
I could see doctors on Long Island, and if I got sick because of any immunocompromised condition that I might develop, I could go to the Melville facility, which would be much easier than running into Manhattan.
Coming up, why this could also lead to better medical care in hospitals across Long Island. Long Island's political leaders are remembering late Senator Lindsey Graham. Colleagues from both sides of the aisle and in both the House and Senate saying they're saddened by his sudden death. Graham died Saturday night after what medical examiners say was a rupture in his aorta. He was 71 years old. Acclaimed actor Sam Neill has died. The Golden Globe and Emmy nominee was 78. He was diagnosed with a rare type of lymphoma in 2023. According to his family, he was cancer-free when he died, but they did not release the cause of death. Neill was best known for his roles in Jurassic Park and The Piano. Suffolk health officials are investigating the cause of a salmonella outbreak on the East End. Stony Brook Southampton Hospital admitted 58 patients since the beginning of July. And the illness reportedly appears to be concentrated in the Shinnecock Indian Nation community. There were also salmonella illnesses at a local music festival in June. A new plaque stands at Eisenhower Park to commemorate the 2024 Cricket World Cup tournament. The T20 competition drew more than 150,000 people. Nassau County made history during the 12-day event, becoming the first place in the country to host the Cricket World Cup.
And we were very proud that they chose Nassau County to have this amazing sports event that was seen by 1.2 billion people around the world.
And Bruce Blakeman says Nassau would be open to hosting more T20 tournaments in the future.
Out East with Doug Geed is brought to you by Connect One Bank, a better place to be.
A popular brewery keeps expanding, this time with a second restaurant in West Hampton Beach. Let's head out east with Doug Geed.
It is peak tourism time for the breweries, restaurants, wineries, farms, and all the wonderful downtowns on the East End. I'm Doug Geed, out east on Newsday TV. Let's pay a visit now to the newest hotspot in West Hampton Beach, the West Hampton Beach Brew and Grill.
We're giving something I think that's family friendly. You know, I'd say we're an upscale brew pub.
It was about a decade ago when the West Hampton Beach Brewing Company opened in one of the most unique locations for a Long Island brewery, an airport. But the dream was always to expand beyond that. About a year and a half ago, they opened a restaurant in Manorville. Now they have a brand new brew pub in West Hampton Beach.
One of the best things about this location, besides being in the middle of Main Street, is that we're one of the few locations here that actually have a lot of outdoor space. This is our outdoor patio, which can hold a significant amount of people. If you're into people watching, we have the front patio, which overlooks Main Street. You can see everyone who's walking by.
As you'd expect, all of the beers they serve, they produce.
We have 8 beers on tap at the new restaurant, and we have about 4 or 5 more that we keep in cans. Again, everything is brewed here in town. So while you may not be at the tasting room when you're here, it's only about 1.5 miles away.
And my goal all along was to bring an affordable menu to West Hampton Beach, which I think we delivered.
Vinny Greco worked for the New York Mets for 25 years. He was their assistant equipment manager.
In '86, I jumped in the pile. My face was probably the cleanest pitcher there was. People always ask, who the hell's that guy? And that was me.
Greco later entered the restaurant business. He's now part of the team at the Brew and Grill, overseeing the kitchen.
We sell a crazy amount of burgers. We go through probably almost 400 or 500 pounds a week. So it's, you know, do the math, it's 1,000 burgers.
In our location, there is some very high-end restaurants. We are very family-friendly. The most rewarding is the people telling us, like, we've been waiting for something like this for a long time, and we're going to make this our regular spot.
In West Hampton Beach for Newsday TV, I'm Doug Geed.
You can learn more about the brewery and see more Out East with Doug Geed segments on Newsday.com. Click Get More below the Newsday TV video box. Well, some nice weather had people packing the beaches across the island's South Shore yesterday. Lido West eventually reached capacity, and traffic was backed up trying to get into Overlook Beach in the town of Babylon. Really nice Sunday.
Yeah.
For your week ahead, Jeff, how we looking?
By the way, I was in that traffic.
Oh.
That was one of those people.
Just waiting.
I mean, it was surprising in that it wasn't like a 100-degree day where it's like everybody has to go to the beach to get relief. But at the same time, it was, as Macy said, a perfect day yesterday, and we'll see another day like that today. Hopefully with a little less traffic out there, certainly at this hour, as we take a look out to Montauk, Sunset Beach. Well, it's Sunrise Beach this morning. Sunset Beach and Inlet, beautiful start to the day. Let's get a look at that beach forecast. And yeah, it's a pretty good one. The wave heights, about the same as yesterday, 1 to 3 feet. There's a moderate risk of rip currents, and I can tell you I also felt a little tug yesterday later in the day, so that seems to hold to be true. But the water temperatures were absolutely perfect. 70 to 74 degrees. I think they'll be about that again today. And so bathe away and just make sure you're standing by the lifeguards. We, of course, do have a very high UV index again today, so use protection. 83 yesterday. Normal high, 83. 65 yesterday morning, 67 normal low. So it's about an average a day, and I mean that in the best possible way, about an average a day as you can get for mid-July. Now, things are going to be changing, and it's going to start feeling much more like what we think July would feel like, which would be into the 90s. Look at that, feeling like 95 to 100. This is a heat advisory. It goes into effect at noon tomorrow and will last through Wednesday. At this point, I think there's a very good chance it gets extended into Thursday. It's for the North Shore of Western Suffolk and all of Nassau. As you can see, all the 5 boroughs and the Hudson Valley as well. If you're doing any traveling, it's going to be stifling hot. Feeling near 100, peaking that heat on Wednesday. But again, I think Thursday's pretty steamy as well. So don't be surprised to see that heat advisory extended into a third day. So we have a chance to get an official heat wave out of this. Although I think much of Long Island temperatures probably top out in the upper 80s tomorrow. And when Thursday, it's really Wednesday that has that chance to get well into the 90s. So we're advancing futurecast here, and I'm not going to stop it until we get to Friday night. That's our real next chance of any showers or thunderstorms. This is going to be a largely dry week. Not great for the drought. If you have the week off, though, this is pretty much all you could have signed up for. But as we head into the weekend, it looks like we'll have those thunderstorm chances each day. So I don't think it's going to be as nice a weekend as what we just had in terms of lack of rain, although there were a few showers on Saturday, but still it was a pretty decent day. But nothing like yesterday, and again today, looking like a carbon copy out there. Upper 70s, Twin Forks, low 80s, rest of the island, low humidity, and a light southwest wind with plenty of sun. Mostly clear tonight. Now, you look at those numbers, yeah, they're not all that appealing. Last night was your chance to give the AC a break. You're going to need it going forward for the rest of the week as it will start turning muggy. And again, temperatures in the upper 70s, those could be daytime temperatures, but those are your overnight temperatures. And then tomorrow, day one of the heat, we will see some 90s across the western half of the island, upper 80s for the rest, mostly sunny skies. And the humidity starts rising as well as we head into Wednesday. So Wednesday's going to really feel like the dog days of summer. And again, I think Thursday, before we start to slightly cool down towards the weekend, a lot of that as a result of the clouds and the potential showers and thunderstorms that we'll be contending with both days. And I don't think they're washouts at this point, but certainly they're not going to be, you know, kind of days where you can just leave the house without any rain gear, without a care in the world. You'll have to do some planning. It looks like this weekend. We will talk about that more as we get a little bit closer. It's still going to be very humid, though, so don't let the cooler temperatures fool you. It's going to probably feel a little bit sticky as we head towards the weekend.
Long Island weather is brought to you by Sun Nation Energy, helping Long Islanders save on their energy bills for over 20 years.
Only a Newsday. Plans are in the works to build the first new hospital on Long Island in more than 40 years. It's a move that could lead to better medical care across the board. Here's Ken Bufa.
A major healthcare provider has new plans for a multi-billion-dollar hospital in Melville. NYU Langone Health wants to build a 1 million square foot medical center at 1 and 2 Huntington Quadrangle. Now, this would be Long Island's first new hospital since 1980. And here's what we know about it so far. There are plans for 500 beds, an emergency department, and research labs. I'm here now with Newsday reporter David Olson and NYU Langone patient Cindy Kafink. Cindy, I'd like to start with you. You're a heart transplant recipient and had to travel from East Meadow to Manhattan for most of your appointments. So what would a hospital in Melville mean for yourself and other patients on Long Island?
Because I'm a heart transplant recipient from NYU, and it's 4 years now, I do have to go into my heart transplant team in Manhattan, but only twice a year. All my doctors, in every respect, have to be with NYU, and they're all a big network. So I could see doctors on Long Island, and if I got sick because of any immunocompromised condition that I might develop, I could go to the Melville facility, which would be much easier than running into Manhattan to see doctors there.
And David, how is this going to change the healthcare landscape on Long Island?
Well, one thing is competition. Experts have told me that there would be more competition, and that could have it could mean a lot of things. It could mean other health systems, because there are a number of hospitals within several miles of that facility. So it could mean other hospitals might try to beef up their services, maybe improve patient rooms, maybe reduce emergency room wait times, things like that. So that would be one of the main differences, and can also lead to competition for doctors and nurses and staff.
So Cindy, what do you hope to see from this new hospital that will help Long Islanders?
I'm hoping that they have cancer treatment centers, not only for breast cancer, but other cancers. I'm a 2-time breast cancer survivor myself, and if I had to go for treatment again, that would be a great place for me to go.
And David, my last question for you is, what are the next steps in this project?
Well, there are a lot of regulatory hurdles, so this will be years before a hospital would open. There are hurdles at the state regulation, especially that level. The state has to approve this, basically. And then there are also other town and county permits and regulations. So there are a lot of steps that they'll need to take, and this probably will cost. The NYU Langone said this new hospital cost billions of dollars.
All right, well, I just want to thank both of you so much for joining us today and speaking about this hospital that will come to Long Island. Of course, you can read David's full reporting of this story over at Newsday.com.
250 years of Long Island history with Doug Geed is brought to you by EastEndGetaway.com. End up here.
Well, we continue our USA 250 celebration with the story of a man whose name is very recognizable to Long Islanders, William Floyd. Our Doug Geed tells us how he cemented his legacy to the founding of our country.
Most Long Islanders are familiar with William Floyd High School, William Floyd Parkway, exit 68 of the Expressway. But what do you know about the man himself? Well, he is actually a member of an extremely exclusive club that goes back to the very beginnings of our country. I'm Doug Geed with another Newsday USA 250.
John Hancock's signature is the fanciest and most well-known of those on the Declaration of Independence. But right near his is another one that's a lot more difficult to read. It's William Floyd's. He was one of 4 representatives from New York State and the only Long Islander to sign one of the most important documents in our country's history.
There is a layered history that we have here on Long Island that tells us not only the Long Island story, but the American story.
William Floyd's story began in 1734. He was born in this house in Mastic that's still standing and is open to the public. he was a Brookhaven town trustee, a member of the local militia, and in 1774 served in the Continental Congress. It was in that role that he got to sign the Declaration of Independence. Shortly after signing it, he moved to Connecticut because the British occupied Long Island and took over his estate throughout the duration of the war.
After he returned, he continued to serve in national and state politics. He was a representative to the U.S. Congress in 1789, and he ran for lieutenant governor of the state of New York in 1795.
In later years, Floyd moved upstate. His children took over the estate in Mastic. 8 generations of Floyds lived there until the family turned it over to the National Park Service.
The estate itself now spans over 613 acres. The property includes the old Mastic House, historic outbuildings, walking trails. The grounds are open 7 days a week, but the house itself is open Wednesday through Sunday.
Inside, you get a glimpse of the life of one of only 56 people who signed a document that created an entire country and changed the world as a result.
It is an honor to protect these valuable resources that tell the American story. We are in the forever business. We tell the national stories, the American story, and that's what national parks are known for. It is very special.
In Mastic for Newsday TV, I'm Doug Gee.
You can learn more about William Floyd and see more of our USA 250 stories on Newsday.com. Click Get More below that Newsday TV video box. And you can see more on all of the stories you've seen today on that website, Newsday.com. Watch us streaming anytime on Local Now, YouTube, and the other streaming services you see there. I'm Macy Eglund here with meteorologist Jeff Vanson. We've got more local news. He's got your forecast coming up here on Newsday TV, covering Long Island like no one else can.
Newsday investigates how police have arrested more than 300 women over 5 years for prostitution-related activities at illicit spas. But none of their male clients were charged. Why do these men evade punishment?
We're not addressing the demand side of it. And this is something that needs to change.
Sex Next Door. Sex buyers walk free. Now available at Newsday.com/sexnextdoor. Newsday, covering Long Island like no one else can.